This video is dedicated to Outlaw. Outlaw, thank you for supporting the EDH channel. Trostani Discordant versus Kozilek the Great Distortion. We are on the draw and we've got some lands in hand, so I will keep there. Our opponent starts things off with a Darksteel Citadel. I think we will shock down the Temple Garden, then I can go for some fast mana with the Enlightened Shooter. I wonder if it's worth going for colour fixing instead, actually, because we do have double white in hand. Maybe we can just hope that we'll get into that naturally. Yeah, well, we'll think about it either way. Do it at the end of our opponent's turn, see how fast a start they get off to. Okay, surprisingly, no turn 2 ramp either. I think we're going to go in for Mana Crypt, and then I can get down the Guardian Project on turn 2, which I think will be pretty good. So let's go for the Forest, into the Crypt, and into the Guardian Project. Our opponent just goes in for a land, and still no ramp for them, which is very surprising. Hopefully this isn't too one-sided a game. Let's run Field of Ruin out. And do we just want to go in for our commander here? Yeah, I think I'll see if we can go for our commander. And we get a couple of tokens from there. Also, we draw from the Guardian Project. Ah, there we go. I thought in the back of my mind there was some kind of removal spell in colourless, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was. Titan's Presence is exile it. And what did they reveal there? Okay, they've revealed Oblivion Sower, so it's obviously some kind of Eldrazi tribal deck of some form. Anyway, we will draw from the Trostani entering anyway. Alright, Gaia's Cradle is going to get us straight back into our commander again next turn. Still just playing lands and passing, so this is an unusual Kozilek deck. Usually, including the one I built, they are typically just ramp into Kozilek and keep your hand full, but they obviously want to interact on our turn. Let's go for the Gaia's Cradle. I will also go for Nature's Law to get us into another white source, and we'll actually get down the Hero of Bladehold so it can swing in next turn. Then we can decide on either Elesh Norn or our commander. So we'll throw down a Savannah, then throw down the Hero of Bladehold, and we can afford Eternal Witness now, but I don't think we really care about going for Eternal Witness. I'd rather save that to grab back our Guardian Project. Okay, and that works out nicely. We've got a land to make for next turn. So let's swing in at our opponent with the 2 lifelinkers. And that will be the turn for us. Alright, finally going for something during their own turn. Bag of Holding. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. And then for 4, tap and sacrifice, you can return those cards. And they are looting with the Bag of Holding now. They've also gotten into Ghost Quarter, which can deal with our Gaia's Cradle, but we can grab that back with Eternal Witness if we want to. And they decided to get rid of Not of This World. And we're doing well on Mana Crypt flips here. We have just won the flip again. Alright, Shamanic Revelation is per creature you control, I think. Yes, it is. So let's go Sun Petal Grove. I think we'll go for our commander. And that will maximise the amount of damage that we can deal. And it will also allow us to cast Shamanic Revelation at the end of the turn. So let's swing in with our tokens. And the Hero of Bladehold, which will bring in some tokens of its own. Put the tokens on... No, we don't. We put the Battle Cry on the stack first, so that the tokens resolve first. Otherwise, they wouldn't get the Battle Cry buff, which matters, because they do enter tapped and attacking. So they go from being 2/2s to 3/2s. And if we're able to attack like this again next turn, then we've probably got our opponent, so they do need to do something pretty quickly. Yeah, knocking them down to 12. Let's go for this Shamanic Revelation, see what we can draw into. We've got 3 mana floating, so I might even go for Alright, I was going to say, might even go for Eternal Witness to grab that back, but I think Lightning Greaves and Skull Clamp is okay. Alright, our opponent decides to scoop it there. I don't know if I'm jumping to conclusions there. We did get off to a pretty good start, getting down the Mana Crypt and some card draw on turn 2, so I don't know if it is a more casual player or not. Might be jumping to conclusions there, like I said. Anyway, let's see if we can get a more interactive game on after this one. Trostani Discordant versus a new one, Vito Thorn of the Dusk Rose. I might make a Vito deck myself for 1v1. I think I'm going to keep that. We'll go for the same tactic again. We'll go for the Mana Crypt on turn 2, and then we can go in for Nature's Law and 3 visits, stuff like that. In fact, we'll be able to do both next turn with a Mana Crypt. So we play the Misty Rainforest, pass through to our opponent's turn, and they get down a tap land, so we are safe to go for Savannah. And that can take us into Enlightened Tutor, and it's fingers crossed that our opponent doesn't scoop, because sometimes people do. Put the Mana Crypt on top, and obviously we draw into that next turn. So now we can play the Mana Crypt, and Nature's Law and 3 visits gets us into dual lands that come in untapped, assuming that the dual lands themselves do come in untapped. So let's go for the Temple Garden, which we can shock in. And that is a huge difference maker because it allows us to now go for 3 visits. So which one is the one? That is the one that always comes in untapped, so we'll go for that. Or it always comes in tapped, I should say. So getting down 3 of our 4 dual lands in the deck. And now we're able to go for our commander next turn. Okay, hopefully our opponent's joking with us there. Yeah, you never know if to take these people seriously or not. Hopefully he's just having some fun with us. Alright, and we get into the 4th dual land right off the top. Do we go in for Eladamri's Call now? I think we might actually. We've certainly got time. So let's just go for that and see if we can get into some kind of card draw. I don't know this deck inside and out because I haven't played it in a while. I think I might just go in for Stoneforge Mystic in an attempt to get the Skull Clamp going. I think that's a good idea, especially against a mono black player. Skull Clamp isn't great immediately because, yeah, our Trostani has an Anthem attached to it. But as soon as our Trostani goes down, the tokens become 1/1s again, and we can start making use of Skull Clamp, so it puts our opponent between a rock and a hard place. Anyway, our opponent goes in for Cracking the Myriad Landscape, so they'll begin to catch us up on mana. They have a Polluted Mire in play, which is just a cycling land. Okay, and we continue to get bolted by the Mana Crypt. Miri's Guile, I don't mind at all. We can get down our commander and the Miri's Guile here. Don't think we need to worry about Skull Clamp all that much yet. I think I'd rather have the Miri's Guile and filter our draws next turn. So let's get that down, and then we'll swing in for 2 at our opponent with the Stoneforge Mystic. I've said it a few times before on previous videos, but ordinarily I wouldn't just run out Skull Clamp if we're not going to be making use of it, but against a mono black player, it's not too likely that they'll be able to get rid of Skull Clamp, although there's certainly colourless means of doing so. And they go for an Ad Nauseam, alright, so the pace of the game might pick up a lot here. Just using that to put a load of stuff into their hand. They've got Umezawa's Jitte, which is a good equipment of their own. Hateful Eidolon is just a lifelinker, really. And then they've got an Aristocrat along with a land to make next turn. So we'll see what we get off the top with the Miri's Guile. Just some lands, I don't think. Yeah, we'll shuffle those away with the Field of Ruin. I think that's the best thing to do. We'll just have to hope that we don't regret getting rid of Path to Exile. This time winning the flip from Mana Crypt. Go for the Field of Ruin and crack that straight away just to shuffle our library. It won't hurt our opponent one bit doing this. And then, now that the dice triggers are working on Magic Online with the commanders, since the M21 rules change, I'm actually going to put the Skull Clamp on our commander, because if our opponent decides to destroy it, as opposed to exile it, which black will tend to do, it will actually trigger Skull Clamp, so I want to test that that actually works. But it looks like we might have a bit of a one-sided game again, thanks to us getting into the Enlightened Shooter on turn 1 twice in a row. Maybe our opponent has a board wipe for us here. Okay, that is something that you need to watch out for. I pointed it out a few times before. They've played a swamp that we didn't know they had in hand. So that just makes it really easy for us to keep track of what's in their hand. There's only 2 mystery cards currently. Oh, scratch that. They ditched the Falconwrath Noble, so that's gone. The Hateful Eidolon we knew about, so there's 2 cards in their hand that we know about, which equals 3 mystery cards. Now a Gifted Aetherborn, which is Death Touch and Lifelink. Might be able to offer up our commander here and get some card draw going. I was considering getting down a knight with this, but I think we're going to make use of the +2/+2, because I dare say they might use this to block one of our tokens. Okay, there's a Lightning Greaves. Probably goes on the Gifted Aetherborn. And then there's the Jitte as well. So we really want to deal with that before it gets out of hand, especially against tokens. Which our opponent is, obviously, against tokens. Alright, so they have 1 card in hand that we don't know about. Okay, surprisingly, swinging in at us with the 2/3. Not holding it back. Yeah, I think I would have held that back there and tried to get rid of our Trostani, although it does allow us to just recast it again. So our opponent's in quite a tricky spot either way here. Miri's Guile, again, we'll look at 3 fresh cards. Elish Norn. I don't think we have the mana for that. 2, 4, 5, 6 and 7, we certainly do, so we're definitely going for that. Let's draw into Idyllic Shooter next turn, and we'll draw into Elish Norn this turn. And I think we might be able to just win this turn. So there we go, we get a couple of 4/4s, a couple of 4/5s, we get rid of the Hateful Eidolon, and that allows us to swing in. Had they not have swung in with this thing, they would have been able to block there. I think the writing was still on the wall, they needed a board wipe there really. We were getting into Idyllic Shooter, might have gone for the Guardian Project, or... oh no, not Sylvan Library, I've been playing too much multiplayer. Sylvan Library isn't legal in 1v1, so probably the Guardian Project, like the last game, because we saw how good that was. Yeah, a couple of one-sided ones really. I don't really like to upload one-sided games, but yeah, if you've seen this one, just assume that the recording sessions didn't go too well, and that these were the best of a bad bunch. Certainly not trying to dunk on my opponents or show off how incredible I am against more casual players. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed this return to Trostani Discordant anyway. I can use this as a means of seeing if people still want to see this commander. So be sure to leave the video a comment and a thumbs up if you do want to see more from this commander. And I will see you all in the next video, I hope. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.